And I want to thank especially our facilitator for this evening, who we will introduce after praying shortly. And I want us to, make sure that we are here with our hearts and we are here present, and to possibly also, with your writing materials, because you will be learning from not just someone who has, the theoretical knowledge, but also someone who has the practical knowledge of what we'll be learning about this evening. So I want you to come present. Don't sleep off, or don't, just be distracted while the program is going on. I encourage you to learn, because it's something that you will look back after some months or some years and be grateful that, you were able to join this program. Let us pray. Our Father, we thank you for this evening. Thank you for bringing us from different locations and giving us this platform to learn. We know that, it is part of your will that we'll have Christians, young Christians, who are doing well and who are prospering in their different fields and who are making impacts in their generation. We ask, dear Lord, that you give us the grace to pay attention to what will be taught, and also that you use the vessel you have prepared to bring this knowledge to us, and also give us the grace also to not just learn, but to apply the truths and the facts we'll learn this evening. Thank you, Lord, because we know you've heard our prayers, but we have prayed in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so tonight, it's already night, obviously, in Nigeria, and it's just 3 p.m., 7 minutes past three here, or 8 minutes past three, depending on my gadgets. All right, so for this evening, we'll have our speaker. Of course, I had already said a little bit about him in our WhatsApp group. Our brother, Chinonso Simon Chime, is someone I have known over the years. We were all, undergraduate students together at UNN, but he has gone ahead to, accomplish quite a lot for himself and to, grow his impact in different ways. So I would just want to introduce him quickly, as an accomplished ICT professional and entrepreneur, and he has over a decade of experience in deploying digital solutions across the health and NGO sectors. Also, as an ICT 4D officer at Catholic Relief Services, um, Rochin also has also, specialized in implementing mobile technology and ensuring data security for large-scale health campaigns. And he also has expertise in cybersecurity, digital capacity building, and data integrity. And Chinonso is the founder of Chimex, Winless Technologies, and Errand Plus Services based in Enugu and Abuja, Nigeria, both of which offer a range of ICT services and logistics support. He's also a passionate advocate for entrepreneurship, finances, and career growth, and he has had opportunities to speak to over 5,000 students across different Nigerian tertiary institutions. And he regularly serves as a speaker at other professional events as well. In terms of his qualifications, he holds a Master's of Business Administration, as well as recently a Master's of Public Health, and he is also currently pursuing another master's in information management at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And this obviously tells us a lot about his commitment to driving impactful technology solutions and contributing to community development. Apparently, for him to have agreed to be part of this program, no matter our large or little numbers, tells you how committed he is in terms of impacting his generation. So, Bro Chinonso Chime also is happily married to one wife, Mrs. Adeze Chime, and he has a son, uh, Rain Chime. So we're glad to have our brother join us from Abuja right now, I believe. So please, if you wouldn't mind, you can unmute and say welcome to our facilitator.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Welcome.
welcome, sir. We're so happy to have you in our midst.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Gosgrants, can I start now?
Yes, sir. Please, you can go ahead.
Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. I'm coming. Let me just share my screen. Um, Hold on, please. Please hold on, please. Let me just share my screen.
No problem.
Yep. All right. Can you confirm you can see my screen? Or is anything blocking it?
I think it looks fine from my end.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the confirmation. So I'll be talking, and at the end of the whole class, I'll give us opportunity to ask questions. First of all, I want to thank Mr. God's Grant for giving me the opportunity to facilitate this. When God wants to bless somebody, he doesn't look at numbers. It can just be one person that God wants to wants to bless. And whatever I'll be talking about tonight I'll be sharing from experience because it's what I practice, is what I preach, is what I'm passionate about. So tonight we'll be talking about maximizing financial investment options in Nigeria. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I want to hide this thing. Hold on, please. I want to hide. All right. All right. So that's it. So I'll be starting now. So I want us to start from the Bible because I believe we are all Christians. And I'll be starting from the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 11 from verse 1 to 6. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 from verse 1 to 6. Um, Let me just open it in my Bible. I want us to read that place completely. If you have your own Bible, you can also open along with me. Let us read it. When we talk about investment, some people don't know that it started from the Bible. I'll be reading from the NIV version, right? And it says, it says, ship your grain across the seas. Verse 1, it says, ship your grain across the sea. After many days, you may receive a return. And verse 2 says, invest in 7 ventures. The Bible did not say one, did not say two. The Bible said, invest in 7 ventures. Yes. That means this verse 2 says, if you didn't hear me well, that I say 7 ventures, even included in 8. For you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. And it went further to say that if clouds are full of water, they pour rain on the earth. And whether a tree falls to the south or to the north, in the place where it falls, there it will lie. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the cloud will not reap. And as you do not know the path of the wind or how the body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things. Verse 6 and the last, it says, sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. You don't know what will work. The Bible says we should not invest in one thing, that we should invest in 7, not just 7, but in about 8 things. Then the Bible also went further in Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. It says, verse New Living Translation, let me read it fully from my Bible here. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5, New Living Translation, verse 5. It says, good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. So over the years, when they talk about investment, a lot of Christians draw back. They feel it is a thing of the world. But I want to start by saying that God will not come down from heaven to do for us things that He has given us the power to do, or things He knows that we are capable, or things He knows that we are capable of doing. God cannot come down to do it for us. And as Christians, we don't just need to depend on one thing. One thing is not enough. We need to diversify. And the Nigerian economy is so big and prosperous that even foreigners come to invest in our country, make profit and go. But many of us that are in the country, because what I'm talking about will be in the Nigerian perspective, but many of us that are in the country do not even understand what is happening in the country. Do you know that a lot of Nigerians who live abroad invest in Nigeria and use the proceeds of their investment in Nigeria to sort their bills in Nigeria without affecting whatever they are doing abroad? Because of how prosperous the Nigerian investment scheme is. So whether there is an inflation in Nigeria, it is favoring somebody. And there is no inflation in Nigeria, it is favoring somebody. And that's why the Bible said we should plan and we should sow our seed upon the waters, because you don't even know where it will land, the one that will favor you. I want to use one investment I did November last year as an example. There's what we call ETF, exchange traded funds. I did an exchange traded fund where I bought 1 unit for 880 naira in November last year. That 1 unit that I bought 880 naira per unit, the current price as of this Friday that just finished, is about 6,234 naira. So imagine that means if I had bought that stock of 1 million unit of that stock, or 1 million worth of that stock, that means by now it will be up to 5-6 million. And somebody will think, it is Ponzi scheme. Or somebody will think, it is fraud. But there are legitimate ways that are approved by the government. Even the government approve these things, because I won't teach you about what the government does not approve, or Ponzi schemes. I don't believe in Ponzi schemes, because I don't even believe in betting, because there are no legitimate ways to make money. So, what is our objective tonight? Our objective tonight is to understand investment options in Nigeria, learn how you can start with small or large capital, and avoid common financial mistake. Some people feel that you need to have 1 million, 10 million, 100 million before you start talking about investment in Nigeria. The least you need to start investment in Nigeria is just 5,000 naira. 5000. So by the end of this class, even if you don't want to invest, you can just sacrifice a 5,000 naira and try 1 or 2 investments and see how it works. You don't necessarily even need to stay long, just see how it works. So at the end of the session tonight, we're going to be talking about understanding investment options in Nigeria, learning how to start with small or large capital, and avoiding common financial mistakes. All right. So why do we even invest? People ask, you might be asking this question, why do you even need to invest? We need to invest to beat inflation because, let me use an analogy. The value of 1,000 naira in 2020 and now is not the same. If you give somebody 1,000 naira in 5 years ago, it is worth something. But now, that 1,000 naira cannot even buy what it can buy in 2020, which means that inflation has caught up with it. But if by that 2020, you were able to invest something, you see that that thing you must have invested must have grown between 2020 and 2025, which can help you to grow wealth and be able to have more money to beat that inflation. So investing helps to maintain the purchasing power of your money by generating returns that outpace inflation. That's why I don't encourage people to keep money in the bank. Because when you keep money in the bank, your money will keep losing value. Your money will be losing value every day. The value of 1 million that is kept in the bank in January is not the same in December because of inflation, and your money should be working for you. If you beat me now and beat me, you might not even be able to beat out 100,000 naira from me because I don't keep money. I make sure money is working somewhere. Even if it is 1 naira, let it just be working. So why do we also invest? We invest to grow wealth. Investment strategies enable your money to grow over time. There's what we call compound interest and market appreciation. And I'll use an example of market appreciation in one of the slides. And we also invest to achieve financial freedom. Consistent investing helps you to build a substantial portfolio that provides financial independence and security. You know, one of the things that many people don't talk about is retirement. A lot of people don't plan their retirement. And there's something I love about the Bible. The Bible have a Bible passage that can console your ignorance. That's one beautiful thing about the Bible. It have a way to console you. If you can think to be right, you can think to be wrong. There's a Bible passage that can support you, whatever you want. So it's left for you to know that you should do the right thing at the right time. Let me give you an example of a reason not to invest. You can see the Bible says, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will worry about itself. And just because of that, you will not invest. Is it in the Bible? Yes. Is it a good decision? No. So you plan for tomorrow because you don't know how the waves of the water will go. And Nigeria is a very big market. I will show you the statistic of investments happening in Nigeria between 2025 and 2026. Let's continue. This is the Nigeria investment landscape. There's an investment. Whenever you hear me talk about financial instrument, it means a type of investment. I'm going to be using it often. So treasury bills, I'll tell you about treasury bills later. Treasury bills is a financial instrument in Nigeria, and it yielded between 15 to 19% range between 2025 till now. There are many countries in the world that when you invest, what your investment can give you at the end of the year is 5% or 6% of your money. But in Nigeria, you see your investment yielding 15 to 19% per annum. I did not say every month, because every month is what Ponzi scheme people use. They'll come and tell you every month. That's what Ponzi scheme people use often. I said per annum. Now, there's what we call the fixed income market. It's another financial instrument in Nigeria. The fixed income market in Nigeria generated 89.14 trillion naira. And the foreign portfolio record, it means what foreigners has invested in Nigeria, gave about 2.65 trillion naira. Then there's what we call NGX. NGX is the Nigerian Stock Exchange market, where we buy shares and the rest of it. The Nigerian Stock Exchange market doubled in 2025. In 2024, the value of the Nigerian Stock Exchange used to be about 5 trillion naira. But in 2025, it doubled to 11.92 trillion naira. So what it means is that if you had invested 1 million in some top stocks in the Nigerian Stock Exchange in 2024, by 2025, you are getting double of your money. That is what it means. You are getting double of your money. And that is if you invest rightly and avoid common financial mistake. The truth is that 1 hour will not give us time to cover all these things, but I'm going to try my best to tell you what you need to start with. And then I'll link you to my YouTube channel where I did a lot of videos already on some of these investment platforms that we can use. So let's continue. This is just Nigeria investment landscape between 2025 and 2026. And I don't know if you know that the richest people in Nigeria, one of the places where they get their money is in stock, shares. That is where they make most of their money. All the rich people you know that are in Nigeria, Dangote, Otedola, they all work with shares. They all trade shares. And that is how they make their money, including top people in the world, right? They all trade on shares. They have shares. So if you don't have a share or you are not doing any financial instrument in Nigeria, you're not ready to be wealthy. You are still playing local. You need to come up to go global, right? So I'm going to, if you had a bad experience about the Nigerian Stock Exchange before in the past, tonight I might convince you otherwise on how the Nigerian Stock Exchange market is performing. And you can even stay in Nigeria and invest in foreign stock and foreign ETFs. There's an ETF in the United States that is called S&P 500, which covers the top 500 stocks in the in the US stock exchange, and you can invest from Nigeria. There's another one called VOO. Like now, one of the top stock is semiconductors in the United States, where they by NVIDIA, where they produce semiconductors that is used to run AI machines. These are the top stocks in the United States. So you can actually be in Nigeria and have some of those stocks in the US. I have friends who have stock in Netflix, who have stocks in Tesla. You can have stocks in Google. It means you are a part owner of those companies. And when they pay dividend is like sharing of profit. You get a share of the profit of the company. That's what dividend is all about. So let's continue. Before we continue, you need to understand some financial foundations that you need to know before investing. And that thing is that you need to create a budget. I don't know if you work with a budget in what you do. Some people might be consoling themselves and say, I'm still in year 1. I'm still in year 2. I don't need a budget. But the truth of the matter is that if you start today to create a budget while in your secondary school or in your university, you are building a culture. You are building a culture that will stand the test of time. You are building a culture that by the time you get money tomorrow, you will know how to invest it because you understand the foundation. And you know the truth. If you have not managed 1,000 naira well, if they give you 10,000, you will squander it. If you have not managed 10,000 naira well, if they give you 100,000 naira, you squander it. And sometimes we say, God don't want to bless me. God may have tested you in the little, and you've not even been confirmed okay with that little that God has given you. How can He give you more? So it starts from the little. If you give me $1 million today, in the next 5 minutes, I can tell you how to invest it. Because I've already prepared myself for opportunities like that. And you know, preparation meets opportunity. It's just like you are praying to God that you want to go abroad and you don't have an international passport. You are not serious. You understand? I'm not here to bash anybody, please. Oh. I'm just here to beat your subconscious mind to let you know that understanding the basics helps your miracle too. That there are things that God cannot come to do for you. God will only give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and it's left for you to do that part. God will not come from heaven to create a budget for you. that will do that part. Fund. You need to have savings or mutual fund or money market that can carry you for 3 to 6 months. What does this mean? If you're a salary earner, you should have at least 2 times or 3 times your salary in a savings for emergency situation. And this emergency savings should be able to cater for you for 3 to 6 months in case you lose your job and you don't get any other job for the next 3 to 6 months. These are basic financial foundation. And then you need to clear your high interest debts. You know, here in Nigeria, we have a culture that is different from abroad. Abroad, you cannot just wake up and buy a Mercedes Benz of 200 million. No. It doesn't work like that abroad. But in Nigeria, somebody can just wake up and go and buy a car of 200 million. Why? Because abroad, they use mortgage systems and all that to get things. They use credit cards to get things. But here in Nigeria, our government is not built that way. So you can't just have some things. So you need to learn how to clear your high interest debts. This one even works for both those in Nigeria and abroad. You need to clear your mortgages. You need to clear your debts, your loans that you got to go to school and all that. You need to start clearing them. That's the basic foundation. There should be a priority while building savings. And you need to save before you spend. You don't spend and then save the remaining. No, you save and then you spend. That way, something is already saved from your income. And another thing I want to talk about is the ability to keep financial record. Is also a foundation before investing. If I should ask you, do you know how much you spent today? So far, do you know how much you spent today so far? Is it recorded somewhere? Do you know how much you spent from January till date? Is it recorded somewhere? So recording these things, some people say it will give them high BP to record it. But the truth is that recording these things helps you to understand your real financial capacity and then know how you can cut down on things in order to manage your funds very well. So you need to learn the habit of recording your income and your expenses. I can tell you how much I've spent today. I spent 3,000 naira only today. And I know how much I spent yesterday. I know how much I spent 3 days ago. I can shock you and tell you that I know how much I've spent. I have record of how much I've spent from 2016 till date. I have it on record. I have an app that records all my income and expenses, and I do analysis on it every year. And that determines how I'll live the next year, some of the things I need to cut down, and some of the things I need to improve on. By the time you keep record of your income and expenditure, you record what you understand better what the Bible is saying in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2, where he said that we should not just invest in 7 things, but even in 8. But if you don't record your income and expenses, you will not understand some of these terms very well. You will be so comfortable with where you are without knowing that there is things you can do more. All right, let's start. One of the things you need to also understand is risk versus return. In investment, there are investments that are low risk, there are investments that are high risk. And the truth of the matter is that low risk investment will give you lower returns. And higher risk investment will give you higher potential return. But let me tell you the risk of high risk. The risk of high risk in investment is that if you do high risk investment, you can even lose your capital completely. But in low risk investment, your capital is preserved. We'll call it Ishiego in Igbo. So I used to encourage beginners, and I also encourage you, if you are starting, don't do high risk investment, do low risk investment. The returns might be lower, but your money is not where it used to be. And one beautiful thing again about low risk investment is that low risk investment, your capital is preserved and it will pay you whatever the bank will pay you as a commission for saving money in the bank every month. These are things that I've tested and confirmed. Whatever bank pay you to save money in the bank, there are investments that will pay you more than that. And since I discovered that, I stopped saving money in the bank. I started putting all my money in investment. So as I'm talking to you, my investment is generating money. It might not be much, but something is adding. As I'm sleeping and waking up, my investments are increasing. It might not be much as Dangote and the rest, but I am not where I used to be. And my investment portfolio last year and this year is not the same. They keep increasing because the more you grow in investment, the more you gain more knowledge, the more you act the way you do, the more you invest in things and all that. So understand that low risk will give you lower returns and high risk investment will give you higher potential returns. Are we following? If you are following and we are making sense, can you give me a thumbs up to be sure that you are following? Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. Thank you, Choma. Thank you for the thumbs up and thank you very much. So let's continue. Categories of investment. So there are different types of investments. I have a video where I talked about 8 investments that anyone can do in Nigeria. That video is on my YouTube. I can also share the link with God's Grants to share in your WhatsApp group. There I explained in details the 8 different investments one can do in Nigeria. And I also categorize it into low risk, moderate risk, and high risk. So I'm going to be talking about the 3 major categories of investment. We have low risk, we have moderate risk, and we have high risk. In as much as I talked about low risk and high risk in the previous slide, but here in the low risk, you don't lose your capital like I told you earlier. And one of them is treasury bills. Then we have bond. We have federal government savings bond. That federal government savings bond is an investment platform that the government has done for Nigerian people to be able to save money and make money. But I bet you many Nigerians don't know about it. And that federal government savings bond is launched in the first Monday of the first week of every month. And it happens only within 5 days. After 5 days, it closes. And the percentage of that federal government savings bond is based on the inflation rate. For instance, the federal government savings bond for February was at 16%. So what it means is that any amount you put in there, the federal government, depending on the tenor you choose, 2 or 3 years tenor, the federal government will be paying you 16% of that money every year for the number of tenors, maximum of 3 years. And that 16%, they will pay you 4 times in a year. So that means that if you have 100 million that you are not using and you put it in federal government savings bond, let's say 3 times, 3 months consecutively, that means you're going to be earning salary every month from them based on interest. And that is not your capital low. After 2 or 3 years, depending on the tenor you choose, you get your capital back. Many Nigerians don't know that this thing exists. And I want to also tell you tonight that the knowledge you have that another person does not have is what keeps you ahead of them. No matter how they speak in tongues, no matter how they pray, no matter anything, that knowledge that you have that another person does not have is what keeps you ahead. Now, that's it for treasury bills. Is also another form of investment. I'll talk about it later. Then we have moderate risk. A moderate risk, your capital, you can lose it and you can also gain more. In fact, I advise people to do moderate risk instead of high risk, because moderate risk, sometimes in moderate risk is a combination of a little bit of high risk and low risk, but you don't lose your capital, depending on the one that you do anyway, But in moderate risk, we have things like stocks. Like I told you earlier, stocks is if I'm to talk about stocks, 2 hours will not even be enough for us to talk about stocks. But I have some videos on my YouTube that explains that. I'm going to share a link to the video I talked about with God's Grant to share in your WhatsApp group. There I explained in details some of these stocks financial instruments. So we also have the high risk. You hear people talk about cryptocurrency, forex trading. For me, I avoid it because it's very, very volatile. When I mean volatile, I means it can be 100 today and tomorrow you hear is 2 or 3. Is that high risk? Is very volatile. So for me personally, I don't do high risk investment like cryptocurrency and forex. I don't do those volatile ones. I do the ones that are managed, that the government has control over, like stocks, mutual fund, federal government savings bond, treasury bills, and the rest of them. So moving forward, let's talk about the investment options. The first one is treasury bills, and treasury bills is low key, low risk, and it is backed by the government. In treasury bills, um, the government you are like borrowing the government money to substitute their budget to solve needs in the society, and at the end they will give you some percentage. And you can tell the government, okay, I'll give you this money for 91 days or 182 days or 364 days. And it's something, right? It's something, and it will pay you more than what the bank will give you as percentage for saving money in the bank. Bankers don't used to like me when I talk about percentage because it doesn't favor investors very well to save money in the bank. You only save your emergency fund. Even your emergency fund, you can leave it in mutual fund. Then investment number 2 is mutual fund. This is where mutual fund work. Mutual fund is more like 10 of us. 10 of us put money in a basket, and someone who is a professional manage all the money in that basket and put our money in different investments at a particular percentage. That is what mutual fund is. And mutual fund, you can start as low as 5,000 naira. And I encourage all beginners to start with mutual fund. I started with mutual fund when I started, and it is a low risk investment. So money might not be so much, but like I said, it will give you more than you will save in the bank as in a savings account. And that is mutual fund makes sense. And the good thing about mutual fund is that you don't even need to be a Nigerian or to be living in Nigeria to invest in mutual fund. People are abroad. Most Nigerians are abroad. They even understand this thing more than Nigerians in Nigeria. So I've seen a lot of Nigerians abroad who do mutual fund. And this mutual fund, there are ones where you can withdraw your money after 30 days. There are ones where you can withdraw your money after 90 days. That is how mutual fund works. So for me, I do the type of mutual fund where I can withdraw my money in 30 days so that if I have an emergency and need to liquidate my money, I can easily liquidate it because I don't touch it all the time. But the way mutual fund work, all they need to, some mutual fund, this mutual fund is still categorized into low risk mutual fund, medium risk mutual fund, and high risk mutual fund. They still categorize, right? But time will not permit us to go down into those categories. But for you to invest in mutual fund, all you need is just 5,000 naira, minimum of 5,000 naira to invest in mutual fund. All right, the next investment is stocks. When we talk about NGX, is the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And what do you mean to buy stock? Buying stock means to buy a share of a company, to be a part owner of a company by buying a piece of a company, so that when they are sharing profit made by that company at the end of the year, you get a piece of the profit because you are a part owner of the company. So usually the people who have more of the shares in the company are the company owners. They used to have more shares. Then why do we invest in stocks and shares? Is to earn dividends. That profit sharing, what they call it is dividend. And then the value of your stock can also increase. That is what we call capital gain. Let me give you an example. I have a friend of mine who bought MTN stock in 20. A friend of mine who bought MTN stock for 213,000 naira. And as at today, as of Friday last week, the value of that MTN stock is 890,000 naira. That means within 4 years, the value or capital gain of that stock has done times 4. And then we also invest in stock for long-term growth strategy. Like, I'll still talk about MTN shares as an example. So there are stocks that the value will increase after a long time. So when buying shares, you also have a goal. Are you buying for the short term? Are you buying for the medium term? Are you buying for long term? Like there are stocks that I have. I know I don't have them for long term, but for my MTN shares, is a long-term stock because MTN is number one in mobile technology in Nigeria, which is why I should have that shares. But any day I decide to sell it off, so be it, the ones that I have, but I have it in abundance. So there's what we call blue chip stocks. Blue chip stocks are those stocks that are doing very, very well. And I listed one of the top three blue chip stocks in Nigeria. One of them is MTN Nigeria. It's a leading telecommunication company in Nigeria, known for its large markets, share, and revenue. So MTN is doing so well in Nigeria. And if you know the history of MTN, you know that they've been here since 2020. 2001, I mean, since 2001. So they are one of the leading telecommunication company in Nigeria. So before you buy a shares, there's what we call fundamental analysis, where you check how well the stock have been doing over the last 4 to 5 years and know if it's something you can buy. Check their dividend history. Have they been paying dividend? Is it worth it or not? And the website where you can even check the history of a stock or how it's doing, we have an app called TradingView. You can use it to check the history of a stock. You can also use the website called stockanalysis.com to check any stock in the world, not just in Nigeria. You can check how they've been performing over the past 4 to 5 years. Remember, I told you that knowledge is power. Then we have GTCO, Guaranteed Trust Bank. It's one of the banks that have the highest branches both in Nigeria and abroad. When I went to Rwanda last year, I was surprised to see a GT Bank in Rwanda. And the stock is so nice that they've even opened in the London Stock Exchange. They now trade even in the London Stock Exchange. That is how international that GT Bank has gone globally. Then we have Dangote Cement, one of the Africa's largest cement producers, which is part of Dangote Group. Like if you follow the trends on stock exchange in Nigeria, you will know that Dangote refinery will soon be listed in the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And if it goes, a lot of people will buy it because the refinery is doing well and has one of the largest producers of barrel per day. So for someone like me, I'm gradually waiting for when Dangote refinery will list in the Nigerian Stock Exchange and I will be part owners by buying a part of it. So these are the top 3 blue chip companies for stock in Nigeria. That is like a stock you should have if you want to really have stock and know when to enter and when to exit the market. So stock is a full topic on its own that we can't even exhaust in one day, right? So let's continue. Then we have foreign investments. Like I told you that you can invest even in the United States stock. You can stay from Nigeria and buy Google stock. You can stay from Nigeria and buy Tesla stock and the rest of them. So US stocks, you can buy them in Nigeria. Equities traded on the US stock exchange And what trading in foreign stock exchange does for you is that it helps you to hedge against inflation, right? Then we have ETFs. ETFs is more like 4 or 3 stock put together so that if one is not doing well, the other one is doing well. For instance, one of the ETFs, and this ETF is in the both in the Nigerian stock and foreign stock. Like in Nigeria, there's a ETF called the one I told you that did well in the beginning of this class between November and now is called Stanbic ETF 30. It's managed by Stanbic IBTC Bank, and the ETF compiles the top 30 stocks in the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So what it means is that if the top 30 stock in the Nigerian Stock Exchange is doing well, the value of that my ETF, which is like a stock, will be going up. And if the top 30 stock in the Nigerian Stock Exchange start performing badly, it means that the ETF will also go down. So we use this when we talk about currency hedge, it means using foreign currency or another currency to hedge against inflation in your country. Let me give you an example. If you bought dollars when dollar was 700 naira, you see that between now that dollar is 1,300, your money would have increased in value because you have used that dollar you bought then to hedge against the inflation when it rose from 700 to 1,400. But people who put their money in that naira at that point, you see that their naira in their bank have lost value between that time that dollar is 700 naira and now. So when we talk about investing in dollars or investing in foreign stock exchange is for us to beat inflation in Nigeria. So I'm one of those people who bought dollars when dollar was 700 and now dollar is 1,400, and it's good to have mentors. My mentor told me then, Chime, go and buy dollar. This dollar you are seeing will reach 1,000 soon. And today, dollar is even at one. It used to be 1,700. It has even come down to 1,300. But one day, it will still go up again. One day, it will still reach 3,000. Because imagine in 1991, dollar was almost 92 naira, maybe 50 kobo. So imagine someone that have saved dollar then and now the person wants to spend the dollar. You see that the person is a big boy because the money has increased in value, which has helped the person to beat inflation. So diversify with currency hedge product. And one of the ways to diversify is to buy gold. Gold is one international stock that the value always increase. And you can buy gold, stock of gold from Nigeria, so that when the value keeps increasing, you can sell your gold. We also have stocks we call real estate investment trust, where you can invest, buy a stock like a real estate, where you buy a stock and they use money for that stock to build houses in Nigeria. When they collect rent, they share it among all the stock owners. So that type of stock, you don't need to come and start having issues with tenant or they don't want to pay rent because it's already in stock. So that dividend they pay you is more like your house rent. So, and you mustn't have 1 million to own a house. Whether you have 5,000, 10,000, you can be a part owner of a real estate investment trust. So that's it for that one. And don't worry, I'm almost ending so that you ask your questions, okay? Then we have real estate investment option. I told you about real estate investment trust. Then you can do what we call land banking. Land banking means to purchase a land and hold for future development or appreciation. This land banking is what some people do as business. Somebody can buy a land for 50 million. Because the value of land yesterday and today is not the same. In the next 6 months, the person can sell that same land for 100 million and make a double profit. People do it very well, especially in Abuja and Lagos, right? So there are people that's what they do for a living. They will buy a house, 50 million, sell it 100 million, use that 100 million, buy another house, sell it for 150 million. By the time they flip and flip and flip houses like that, in 1 year, they are billionaires. And real estate is one of the fastest way to be very wealthy in Nigeria because not because it's a good way, but because most stolen funds from the government, they use real estate to actually siphon those funds, which made the real estate to be a very hot cake in Nigeria. Then we have rental properties, which means owning properties to generate rental income. If you have properties and the property is generating, people are paying you rent and all that, it makes sense. But one of the caution I give people here is that you don't use all your money to go and build a house, and then you don't have capital again to run your business. It's a very foolish decision, because a house you build now, before you recover the amount you used to build that house alone, it might take you long number of years. So people who do rental properties are people who are already stable in capital for their business, that they can build a house and it doesn't shake their business. But imagine that your guy just settled you, or you got a capital of 1 million, and you say, you need to build a house. So you can use the whole 1 million you're supposed to use and do business, and go and buy a house that they are going to be paying you rent. That your business is already there though, because capital is no longer there. Then we have short-let apartment. This short-let apartment is the major reason why the cost of housing is expensive in Lagos and Abuja today. And if you want to make money, you can capitalize on it. So short-let apartment, if you understand Airbnb very well, you can understand this. It means offering furnished apartment for short-term stays. In fact, these short-term apartments have increased a lot of crime in the society. You see underage children who will go and into a short-let apartment, go there and be smoking because they know they can't accommodate them in hotels. And I'll tell you this for free. Whenever you lodge in a hotel, the hotel send your details to the security agency of that state every day, the list of all the people that lodged in that hotel. So it's a security measure, and it's a way that those people use to track people too. So, and that is why a lot of people go for short-let apartment. So short-let apartment is more like you can rent a building, furnish it to a very high taste, and then using it for people for short stay. And it works well because especially during festive period, like in Enugu, for example, during Christmas, short-let apartments sell very well because a lot of people come from abroad, they don't have where to stay. They can stay in this short-let apartment. People who come to spend holiday in Enugu, people who are planning weddings, instead of going to hotel, they can rent a whole short-let apartment to plan for their wedding and the rest of it. So short-let apartment is a very lucrative business, and it's part of the reason why housing is expensive, especially in Lagos and Abuja, because more houses make more money with short-let apartments than renting it out. So why would they rent out when they can make more money with short-let apartments? All right, business investment is another form of business. For example, if you're in Nigeria and you're looking for capital to do business, and you're between 18 years and 35 years, and you have a business that is less than 3 years old, registered with CAC, or even if it's not registered with CAC, Tony Elumelu Foundation is giving $5,000, which is like 7 million naira for businesses. And he'll give this money to about 1,000 businesses in the whole of Africa. So if you're looking for capital to start a business, this is something you can leverage on by applying, right? And it will end on March 31st. It will end on March 31st this year. Remember, I told you earlier that information you have that other people don't have is what keeps you ahead of them. So you have a lot of Nigerians complaining, I don't have money to start business, so my brother abroad don't want to send me money. And they don't know that even those people abroad work harder than us in Nigeria. They work harder than us in Nigeria. What they pay for rent in 1 month is what some of us pay for rent in 1 year. And you keep tasking them. If you're among those people that disturb people that live abroad, I want to use this medium to tell you that you are not doing well. Don't be a beggar. They have their own battles to face. Face your own battle. Don't bully them to give you money. Don't call them stingy because you don't know what they are passing through too. So, like, you can also start your own business and stop billing people abroad by applying for Tony Elumelu Foundation so that they can give you money for free. It's not as if you are paying that money back or $5,000. Imagine getting 7 million naira to start a business in Nigeria on day like this. It's not a small money. So you can also partner with other small, medium enterprises to boost their business. That is investing in other people's business. You can also invest in businesses to be an equity participation. What do I mean by equity? If, for example, I have a business and the value of my business is 100%, I can say, give me 5 million to invest in my business so that you take 2% of my business. What it means is that whenever I make profit after tax and all that, I'm supposed to give you 2% of my profit because you are now a core owner of the business. So in profit sharing, you must get something. That is what it means in equity participation. All right. High risk investment is cryptocurrency, like those doing Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin went so low recently, and a lot of them and that's why I said it's very volatile. It is very, very volatile. I don't advise beginners to do high risk investment. I've done cryptocurrency in the past. I lost some money. I made some money too, but at this age, I can't take some kind of risk again. Then forex trading is another high risk investment. And one good thing about some of these high risk investments is that the profit is high, and they have a lot of scammers there too. So if you don't trade carefully, you will become a victim. All right, so let's move on. What are the common mistakes you need to avoid when you want to invest? Number one, chasing quick return. Avoid the temptation to pursue rapid gains without proper analysis, as this can lead to significant loss. There are so many fake investments in Nigeria, and whenever they bring that those investment platform around me, I ask them one question. This investment, is it registered in SEC? SEC is Security Exchange Commission. It is the arm of the government that verify every investment that is done in Nigeria, and their website is open, sec.gov.ng, sec.gov.ng. When you go there, if somebody said that there's an investment, go and check if that company is registered with SEC. If it's not registered with SEC, they are scammers and likely going to dupe you. And these are some of the knowledge that a lot of Nigerians don't have. They'll tell you that they'll give you interest of 30% per month. That's so huge. And a lot of people fall victims to that. Then following hype blindly. So this hype happens a lot in the stock market. There's a lot of hype. So a stock can go so low, and out of fear, you just sell your stock because the stock went low. And that when it went low is when the smart investors buy more stock because they know it will go up again. There is no law that states that a stock will keep going down. It just fluctuates depending on your goal for the stock. Then a lot of people also do not research. Before refrain from investing without thorough research and understanding of the investment options. Don't just invest in something because they said it is good. No, 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 no. Do your research very well. And we're in the era of AI, where AI can even help you to do your research. You can deploy AI. Hey, ChatGPT, Gemini, the rest of it. Help me check. What do you think about this stock? Is it good? Should I buy? Should I not buy? Should I wait small? What do you think about this stock? Can you help me predict the future of this stock? What do you think? Like, AI is even there to make things easy for you. So avoid chasing quick returns, avoid following hype blindly, and avoid not doing research before you invest in any stock, right? Don't worry, we're almost concluding. So I did a simple wealth allocation plan. And there is no rule that states that you must follow this plan, or please. There is no rule that states it, right? So if you make your money 100%, 10% can go to giving, this can be tithe, this can be charity or anything. Then 40% covers your living expenses, your rent, your feeding. We know that the three most important things is feeding, clothing, and shelter. Then 30% of your wealth can go into, of your salary or income can go into investment. That means if you earn 100,000 naira as a salary, 30K can go into investments. Then 10K can pay your tithe and the rest. Then 20K or 20, I'm using 100% as an example. So 20% can actually go into growth and skill. A lot of people don't invest in their skills. They don't invest in skills. They just want everything free, 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 free. If you really want to grow, you need to pay to learn skills. You need to pay to be in classes. Last December, I paid almost 40,000 naira just to learn AI, advanced AI. It's not as if I didn't know it. Some of the things that we are taught in that class, I actually know them, but I saw them in a different dimension. After that class, I could teach people how they can even use AI to make money for themselves, right? Which is another class I have coming up next month. But I went for training. I learned. And because I learned, I can even make money from that skill by teaching others. But the main thing is that I paid to learn. So a lot of people, and because this is a Christian gathering, I'll be specific. A lot of Christians don't like paying for skills. Not all. Many Christians, they want everything free, especially in Africa. They can't teach us free in church. And you know the funny thing, and those things they teach you free, you won't get the full details of of everything you need to know about them. That's the funny truth. So sometimes pay to learn. Pay to learn. That's why you pay to go to school, because the more skills you gather, you grow, right? And that's it on simple wealth allocation. Don't worry, we're almost concluding. So I listed 3 things that 10,000 naira can do for you. So with 10,000 naira, you can go into the money market fund. When I'm talking about money market fund, I'm talking about mutual fund, right? With 10,000 naira, you can do mutual fund. And I'm going to show you apps where you can do some of these things. I'm just letting you know that I'm just talking, right? I'll show you apps you can do, and you can also learn further from YouTube. Some of them I explained on my YouTube channel. Some of them you can just search on YouTube to learn more about it. YouTube is one free university that is underrated. Yeah. I used to tell people that I learned more from YouTube that I learned in my university, but they don't used to believe. So 10,000 naira can buy some shares for you. I have a friend who bought 10,000 naira worth of GT Bank shares. So she's a student in the university. She started me last week. She said, Chime, I'm so happy that the stock she bought have increased by 300." So now is something. And what does it mean? When this kind of person touch 1 million or 2 million naira in future and invest it in shares, she won't be scared to invest 2 million naira in shares, because she have already understand the fundamental with the 10,000 naira she have used to buy shares. You can also use 10,000 naira to acquire a skill, right? You can use 10,000 naira to acquire a skill. Go and pay to learn a skill. Don't try to learn everything free. And why paying is important is that sometimes paying connects you to the teacher itself, who is the mentor, that will you get direct access to that person, and the person will show you the way very well because you've already paid for their class. Don't worry, we are ending soon so that you can ask your questions. Then we have apps, the apps where you can do this investment. We have AfriInvest. In AfriInvest, you can buy stocks, you can buy federal government savings bond. We have Invest Niger. In Invest Niger, you can invest in mutual funds. In Cowrywise, you can invest in mutual funds. In RiseVest, you can invest in foreign real estate investment trusts. In Bamboo and Trove, you can buy stock, treasury bills. In Meritrade, you can buy ETFs. In iInvest, you can buy almost everything: treasury bills, fixed income, mutual fund, life assurance. You can buy all those things in iInvest. Then in Plutus Neo, Plutus Neo used to be known as Optimus. It's owned by AfriInvest. There you can buy foreign ETFs like S&P 5, Vanguard S&P 500, VOO, and the rest of them. You can also buy foreign stocks in Plutus Neo. Then we have PiggyVest. PiggyVest is for savings. We call it high interest savings. So PiggyVest is for high interest savings. So saving in PiggyVest will give you more profit than saving with your bank. The bankers may not like this thing, but that's the truth. Then we have Sycamore. Sycamore is where you can buy financial instruments like commercial papers. Normally, commercial paper, you must have 5 million naira before you can do commercial paper. With app like Sycamore, with 100,000 naira, you can buy, with minimum of 100,000 naira, you can buy commercial papers. So these are tech platforms. You can screenshot it to try them out later, to register with them, to give them a shot. But I have every of the app mentioned here because each one serve a different purpose for me. All right, moving on. How do you build wealth as a Christian man? How do you build wealth as a Christian? Well, one of the ways you can build wealth as a Christian is to have integrity. Integrity is a skill that is lacked even in the church. Common financial analysis in church is a problem, where people are not accountable for managing church fund is a problem. So having integrity is very, very important as a Christian, because when you have integrity, people can even give you goods on credit to sell and bring back. And integrity can buy you seats in the high places. Integrity can put you in presence of people that are of high influence. Then another thing is patience. Wealth and patience have a lot in common, because Wealth is not something you make fast. It's patient over time. To give time for your wealth to accumulate, for your stocks to grow in value, and then you reinvest your profit back. All these things require time. So that's why when you see people who tell you that they started today and in the next 1 year they are already millionaires, it's very questionable, because as a Christian, you should understand that patience is very important in creating wealth. And then when creating wealth, you also think of long-term thinking. You also think of delayed gratification. Delayed gratification means that I need this thing now, but I can wait small so that I can get it comfortably. Like one of the principles I have with this delayed gratification, I can tell you some of the things that work for me. For example, if I want to buy a phone, if I don't have the money twice, I cannot buy that phone. It means I cannot afford it. That is how I buy phones. Before I buy a car, I don't just sell the current car and buy a new one. I make sure that I've already bought the car that I want, then I sell the old one. That means that I can actually afford a new car. I'm not struggling to buy that car. But when you are struggling, if I'm struggling to buy it, I can decide to just sell the old car. And in the process of waiting to buy another one, you just eat the whole money. A lot of people have lost money that way. So these are some principles that work personally for me. Anybody, but I just something this big asset like car. I make sure I can buy another car before selling the one I have. That means you see two cars. By the time I get another car, you see two cars, and then I'll now sell the old one to reinvest the money back, because sometimes it's money that is invested that is even used to buy the new car, and you need to replace it back, right? And you can do car upgrade, and what you are using to do car upgrade can just be profit of your investments, right? And it won't shake you. That's why they say when even when the economy is hard, some people are making it. It's because of what they have invested in the past. There's no magic there. And that's one thing I like telling my fellow Christians. One of the challenges we have as Christians is that we hope that one day something will happen and will now become worthy. What is that something that will happen? What is that action point you are doing to lead you to that something that will happen? You just hope that money will just appear from somewhere and you just become wealthy. No, 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 no. Even God is not a magician. He doesn't do magic. Somebody will tell you that you receive an alert. No. What are you doing? Don't always be the expectant person. Have an action plan of what you are doing as a person to get that thing you want, and God will bless you. God will expand that wealth, right? And when we talk about being wealthy, it's not really having mansions and all that. No, 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 no. If you can have food that you eat, clothing and shelter, and buy the basic things of life, my brother, you are wealthy. My sister, you are wealthy. And if you can be contented with what you have, even the Bible said, Hebrew 13, verse 5, keep your life free from the love of money and be contented with what you have, because neither will I leave you nor forsake you. So contentment is part of wealth. When you're contented with what you have, it is wealth. All right. Diversification strategy is another thing we need to know as Christians. Do not put all your money in one asset. It's wrong. You can't put all your money in one stock. It is wrong. What if that fork stock? That's where the Bible made mention in Ecclesiastes chapter 11 from verse 1. He said, spread your seed upon the waters, for you don't know the one that will germinate. So it means spread your money across different investments, because you don't know the one that will do well. Spread your money among stocks. So when Bible say spread your seed among the waters, it means spread. For me, I read it as spread your investments. The Bible even went further in verse 2 to say, do not invest just in 7, but in 8. That's what the Bible said. So it means you as a Christian, you should invest in more than 7 things. Just small money here, small money here and there. One of the politicians, Wike, will say, Enyendeba, Enyendeba. That means give these people, you give these people. Your diversification can be a mixture of low and moderate risk, right? So that you spread your tentacles. Even the Garden of Eden was watered by 4 rivers. So these are the evidences from the Bible that one source of income is not enough. So if you're the type that is doing just one source of income, start thinking diversification. Start thinking of another thing you can do to get money, right? And investment in some of this investment I talked about is a type of investment that you invest and you go and sleep and your money is working for you. You don't necessarily need to be there. It's called passive income, right? All right, let's continue. So I talked about the emergency fund and what is the importance of this emergency fund? It helps to prevent forced asset liquidation. So why emergency fund is important is that you might have an emergency and you require fund. You don't go and sell your stock. That is where emergency fund comes into place, and it also provides peace of mind. Then, understanding inflation in Nigeria. Inflation impacts savings value. Investment helps you to preserve purchasing power. Wow, this is 10:16. Don't worry, I'm rounding up now. And goal-based investing, we also always have a goal for your investments, short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals, right? And what are the step-by-step action that you should take? Open investment account after this class, start with money market, mutual fund, and then gradually diversify, right? And you always have a financial growth mindset, continuous learning, always learn. What I taught you here is not enough. Go and learn more on YouTube. You can use my YouTube channel to learn more from me if you like my style of teaching. Then always track your investment, review annually. 31st December is one day that is very special to me because I use it to analyze all my investment, everything for the year before I move on to the next year. Then I'm trying to what are the benefits of committing to financial investment? What should I consider when choosing an investment to focus on? I'm going to share this slide. I've shared this slide already with Gus Grant. He's going to share it in the group so that you can use it to understand what we've talked earlier on. So that is it. Question and answers. Then if you want to reach out to me personally, this is how you can get to me. This is my real face. This is my name, this is my phone number, this is my email, and this is my website. So thank you very much for your time. We've really talked a lot. We've really talked a lot. So I'll be opening up for questions if there are any. Thank you very much, Mr. Gus Grant. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, we are glad to have you. Can we unmute and say thank you to our guest facilitator, please?
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We are glad that we could spend this time with you. Please, does anyone have any questions? Any questions? I know I have one or two. Obino, go ahead quickly.
Good evening, Mr. Chinonso. Thank you so much for that wonderful session. So, although you talked about some apps, some technologies that you can use to enter into some of these investments. So there is one that we talked about. I think it was about bond that is being. I did not actually record it. It's something like first week of every Tuesday of every month. So I don't know if like I wanted to be cleared on how we can access these things apart from the technology that you mentioned, like how we can easily access these things and get started with it. That's the thing.
All right. Thank you for that question. I don't know if I should pick all the questions or just answer them one as they come.
Yeah, I have two questions. I don't know if another person has, but I'll just ask my two questions and then maybe you can start with those three. My first
Okay.
question is, so talking about the profits or the return on the investment, is it taxable? Nigeria has been having a lot of tax discussion, recently. So is it taxable? And if yes, how is that done, especially for someone who is not in the country? Number two is for something like the savings bond. Do I need a professional to handle that, or is it something I can do from anywhere without a professional? Those are my two questions.
Question. All right. All right. Thank you very much. So let me start from the first question. Like I said, this class is not enough to cover some of these investment on how to get started and all, right? But I have another, there's a video I shared with God's Grant. He'll put it in the group. That video explained more in detail some of these financial instruments and how you could go about it. Like the federal government savings bond is the percentage fluctuates every month. And what I said is that it's open in the first Monday of the first week of every month, and it lasts for just 4 days. So that means if you don't pay within that 4 days, you miss that opportunity, right? It's called Federal Government Savings Bond. I also have a video where I explained this Federal Government Savings Bond very, very well in details. If you can search for my name on YouTube, I have some videos on it. Then though I didn't plan to put it here, I also have a private group where I inform my students where they can when some of these stuffs are on, because people are busy, they don't know. So I also have a group called Wealth Builder Course. In that group, I have a set of videos, about 12 videos that went into details for each and every of these financial instruments very well. And those in that group can ask me questions, right? Directly. It's just cost 6,500 to get access to that one. But because I'm an invited guest here, I'm not supposed to even talk about it. So I'm just talking generally on it. So, but on your own too, you can also go to YouTube, search out how do I register, right? Like for instance, my FGN savings bond, I do that on AfriInvest and Invest Niger, because Cowrywise does not do federal government savings bond. Do you understand? I do my ETF on Meritrade and AfriInvest Niger because others don't do it. I buy my foreign stock and high interest, high risk mutual fund from Plutus New because every other ones don't do it. I buy my commercial papers from Sycamore because Sycamore have more opportunity for commercial papers than every other investment. So there is a purpose each of these app is having, and I have all of them, right? So some people used to look for one app that just solve everything, and it doesn't happen in most cases. Then I believe that answered the first question. Then the second question that Gus Grant asked, yes, some of them are taxable. But the federal government savings bond is not taxable because the government is helping you to save. And the federal government savings bond, you can't remove your money till after the number of years you agreed with them, 2 years or 3 years. That's how it works. You can't remove your money till after that agreed date. Yes, there is a tax of 10% of your interest. Every interest you make, the federal government collects 10% of that interest as a tax, right? Now, investing from someone in foreign countries, if you have some of your stuff like Nigerian phone number, BVN, NIN, you can actually register and also use your house bill to verify your address and start up. Then there is also opportunity for some of this investment for people that are abroad. They have opportunities like that, but the interest, I think the tax they charge those abroad is higher. So sometimes they just use their Nigerian stuff and just register as if they're in Nigeria, but they are not in Nigeria. And that way they get all the benefit that every other person in Nigeria gets. So if your Nigerian number is active, you can still use it to register on some of these stuffs. And that's another way you can do. Some people use their family members in Nigeria to just register and invest, but they have access to what is happening there, right? And all that. But any name you use to register, you should have a bank account that is linked to that name, right? And that is how you can invest from outside the country. I know a lot of people from outside the country that use it to build their retirement plan, right? Let me give you an example. If you buy commercial paper of 5 million naira for 365 days, you have a potential of getting almost 1 million naira profit at the end of the year. Someone wants to do Christmas charity, can just use it to just get money to do Christmas. And at the end of the year, your 5 million is still there. You understand? So it's just one of the ways that get high interest. Then the inflation of the country determined by CBN every month, determine how this percentage works. There was a time that FGN savings bond is at 18, 19%, but right now is at 16%, right? There was a time it was even at 13%. So it varies every month. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, sir.
We really, really appreciate you once again for coming, and we hope that maybe in future dates we'll be able to still request that you will come and still teach us one or two things so that we'll keep drinking from your wealth of knowledge and experience. Thank you so much once again, and we are glad once again that we had this privilege of hearing from you. We'll allow you to go. We know that you've taken quite some time away from your family, and we send our warm regards to your family, and do have a very good night. Thank you so much. All right, so um, I believe we all learned something new and something that you're going to work with. We have very few minutes. I said that we're going to have a meeting to decide the future of. Okay, I think I'm supposed to stop recording.